I'm right there with you because I feel like because I've been told like by people like people have asked like you should try it and I'm all like I just can't picture myself writing this story down and then trying to like remember it word for word.
Yeah.
And then I just sound fucking lame.
You gotta mix it in with both and both. So you like
first
talk
off, I had
written,
the worst,
and then like feed off of it.
That's
off
what I'm
of
saying.
Yeah,
and then
you almost have to just memorize the topics.
Yeah, and that's
Go with.
that's what I think is the best style of comedy where it just feels natural.
Yeah.
And not forced. Where a lot of bigger so Kevin Hart, for instance, I feel like starting off he started off really strong.
Yeah, for sure.
But it
Got real repetitive.
It's just really repetitive, and it felt like
Two of his stand-ups were the exact same fucking stand-up.
Well, it just felt like it was written and it was just forced. Where I want someone who's just fresh and kind of just going at it.
Right.
So I like Bo Burnham a lot.
I love
even though his is like down to a T written out.
Literally, words had all of it written out behind him.
Yeah. And like he points that out on stage, but it just seems fresh though. He comes up with new stuff where it's different. Bill Burr honestly just sounds like he's talking to you.
Yeah.
You know, it's I like the conversational style of comedy. Where if I told like a joke that people used to laugh at, like it was a story about my mom and like the difference between how they were threatened as a kid by their mom, like the typical, like, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. My mom straight up just says, you fit in my trunk. Like I was driving the car with her, and I was like, I worried about you, and she was like, oh, thank you, smoking her cigarette. And I was like, no, I'm worried you'll kill me in my sleep. And without missing a fucking beat, she was like, you fit in my fucking trunk. And then I was just like, stuck, because I was like, you? Okay. Fuck. And then I didn't sleep well. So, but I feel if I wrote that out, it would lose that little bit that just seems where I just thought of it and I was just talking to you about it.
Yeah, stuff that's rehearsed, it always sounds different.
Well, that's the hard part about it is that, like, do you do a comedy where you're playing, like, a character, or do you just, like, conversate? Cause
right, and I think that's where you have to find where your strength's at.
I think, personally, I could be, like, and I get the groans that are coming, but, like, an Amy Schumer, but not terrible. And
don't steal my jokes.
Joke stealer. That's not what I'm saying, though. Like, just that kind of, like, I get it, she's whatever, but, like, when I first heard her, like, her first stand-up before, like, knowing all this, like, I believe it, I'm on that board, but, like, I liked her delivery. I still like her delivery. I like her just kind of, like, bitchy girl telling it, like, kind of whatever, but, I mean, I also look at it as, I almost would do, like, a Mystery Science Theater 3000 to, like, just shit I experienced, or, like, tell a story and, like, make my own commentary on it.
I feel like there's better female comedians.
Oh, there's absolutely better female comedians.
I feel like you would be...
Who would you say?
I mean, a really famous one who's didn't lose really her strength, and I don't care what it says. Kathy Griffin's pretty fucking funny. And
See, I'm not a fan.
She's just a bitch.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Well, but I mean, what is any other comedian but like a dick?
Just fall into like the Amy Wong category if I had to get in.
Yeah, Amy Wong's really good. I like her a lot.
Sure.
So I don't know. There's this one, I can't remember her name, but she was on, I watched the show called The Green Room with Paul Provenza.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bunch of comedians sitting around talking.
Yeah.
And I can't remember her name, but she was super fucking funny and just was cracking little...
I think it's hard for female comedians to be famous for being female comedians. Like, I get it, Amy Schumer sucks, blah, 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 but, like, she's kind of the first, really, I can think of that became famous for being a comedian. Then she came out with the movie and all this kind of stuff, but I mean,
Sarah Silverman.
Sarah Silverman, sure, but I mean, like, the highest she ever got was her own TV show that was shit. It was, whether you like her stand-up or not. Like, her sketch show was bullshit. Amy Schumer came out with one that was successful, and then, like, she keeps going. Again, I'm not, like, speaking in her favor. I'm more speaking to say that, like, I think it's harder for women to actually have, like, there's not gonna... It's gonna take a lot for a woman version of a Louis C.K. where he's almost a household name purely based on comedy.
He sucked too, though.
What? That's fine. And I'm not talking about personal taste. I'm talking about the literal act of... like, popularity. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, regardless of your opinions on him or whether or not you think he's funny, Louis C.K., first and foremost, when people hear that name, they think of a comedian, they don't think of an actor. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't know who Amy Schumer was till Trainwreck.
Amy Schumer, I felt, got famous off her delivery at the roast.
Oh, absolutely, because she just was, like, a total dick.
Because I never even knew who the fuck she was. But I'm not saying that. I get what you're saying, and that's what it is that she was the comedian, and then did movies, and then she got
Because
good,
of the fame,
She got
off of
good
it.
at her movies because I don't like Amy Schumer stand up. I think it's fucking terrible. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie and tell you Trainwreck wasn't fucking funny.
It was super funny. That's
I haven't seen it.
John Cena was fucking great.
John Cena was hilarious, which also kind of
Is that you a little bit?
yeah. I like when people are funny. It's like when Neighbors came out. I was just like, this nigga Zac Efron's fucking funny.
He had a little come up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now I don't mind seeing it.
I know.
Channing
I
Tatum
like
was the
totally
biggest one.
forgot that he was, like Disney star. We get it.
Channing Tatum was the biggest one for me. I just hated it. She couldn't fucking stand him. I just thought he was a
And
shitty
then 21
actor.
Jump Street
And
came
then
out.
he just was fucking funny.
Yeah.
Then
You know, let's strap it, man.
because he was in like the things G.I. Joe was dude.
Yeah.
It was though.
But yeah,
That's
man,
why they
I
killed-
just,
I've just seen that one in the.
But who's
theaters.
somebody that
I
like?
have problem. The problems what I'm saying with that rehearse shit is kind of falling under the category. That's the person who I was going to mention was Louis C.K. was where it was like a good start. The only person who I think does rehearsed comedy good is Seinfeld.
Sure.
That's because
He's literally the definition of what's up with playing.
I would also
airplane
argue Bo Burnham, Mike Birbiglia, or anybody else mentioned earlier that kind of takes on that persona. But I see what you're saying, that he is definitely like the original.
And
I would say he's the founder of that style of comedy. Absolutely, where he was.
So I feel like if I was doing that, I'd fall just more under Bill Burr's category
Bill Burr's great.
because there's not. You think he rehearsed that fucking rant about Philly?
Oh, it's so great.
No, he just knew what he knew about Philly.
Did you
and
hear
gave
about,
it to them?
Did you see
fucking
see
people.
his new stand-up that came out on Netflix a couple months ago?
Yeah, I watched it.
So we was talking about the gorilla thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that was written? No, it sounded like he was just talking to you and it just got.
If you want to see Bill Burr at his finest, watch him on Conan.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
When he was talking to Elijah Wood about the fucking people breaking into your house.
Yeah, but and that's just kind of what I go for off the top random comedy. But I mean, my comedy is based off, like I feel like I kind of in my own right have my own sense of comedy. You know, like everybody's got their own sense of comedy, whether it's dark humor or anything. But I feel like I fall under my own category, and that's just because of my family. Like, if you put me, Marky, and Joe in a room, it's almost like we're speaking a different language, but the people in this room understand it. But that form of comedy is just not something you hear inside of a different room of people.
Yeah. I think that's the same way if they put me, my mom, and my brother in a room. It's different.
Well, I get tagged in that picture all the time with that dude sitting there with a sign in front of it and says, I don't know everything, but I'll argue about anything.
That was
Yeah.
me.
Sure, he does.
Should do that as a
We argue.
slight.
We argue over whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like I can talk about anything, talk to anybody about anything openly
Yeah.
in a right and make it funny just by, I don't know, I guess natural selection of the person.
Sure. So you're just more, you would just, just fall in the category of almost improv, where it's just right off the top.
Yeah, in a sense.
So you're not following a sense of like direction where typically improv like has a topic, but like you're just, it's coming off your head and you're going along with it, feeding off other people.
Yeah, and then to go back to what Dylan was saying is just that, if anything, I think I would have to, it would be topics, but I think I would have to write an opener. Because
Somewhere to start.
the opener's the hardest part.
It is.
Opener's the hardest part in life.
Yeah.
Just anything that you can refer to, like, you gotta talk to a woman, the opener.
Picture meeting their parents.
But you can have a shitty opener too. So,
Oh yeah.
you gotta
I
find
would
a
actually
blend
argue
between
the
two.
opposite. I would say closing's harder. Because I even think of like sketches through any sketch show you can think of, Saturday Night Live or anything like that. It's hard to end them. Like, you have something funny going on. Like, even think of the infamous SNL Gotta Have More Cowbell with Christopher Walken. How did that end? How does that, like, summarize it? Can you even think of it? Or do you remember, like, the main punchline at the beginning where it builds up to it, and then it happens, the punchline, and that's it? And, like, that's why you get a lot of those weird sketches where I feel like no matter how funny they are, they have almost, like, awkward ending because they have to. So all of a sudden, like, some weird twist at the end has to come in. And I would even say that, like, in any aspect of it, closing is more difficult. That would just be my argument.
I feel like the beginning part,
But also
to
close-
set yourself and identify it.
Right.
If your opening's good and they're already open to you, I feel like you have a bigger variety. You only get one opener.
Okay.
You can get
You
multiple.
can't be
endings.
like, hold on, and
You
run off
can-
stage
and that's
come back.
that's the only thing that I would argue is that you can have multiple endings based off how you're reading everything.
Also,
But
crowd,
you can't. Yeah, you don't really got multiple openers. You just got you as the opener doing what you think you should do.
One of the best openers I ever saw was this dude named Kyle Cunningham. You guys ever watch Reno 911?
Yes.
Did the dude who played the weird chicks, like the guy who was a serial killer?
I love him.
So he came out as almost that character, but like as retarded. And he was just like, hey guys, and like put it on. And then he's like, I'm just kidding, I don't fucking do that. And then he went into his show, and I was like,
He's great, yeah.
I honestly believe he was retarded, and I was like, holy shit. Like, are we gonna laugh at this at his jokes? Like, am I gonna feel bad? But
Right.
and then it just totally changed. God damn it, Darius. Look at it.
But I don't know. I think it's also my biggest problem with some comedians is the like redundancy of it. Where
I get it.
So if you could think of an opener right now, what do you think you would? Like, would you start off with like a one-liner?
Probably.
A one-liner, just to get them kind of going and see where the feel
I think
for
I'm
it.
successful enough to throw in a good punch right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
people with quick taste of it of what they're gonna get.
Maybe even finish, but that's just a taste. You know?
Just be like, get comfortable.
I'm just, like I said, I just prefer, this might sound cocky or whatever, but I don't give a fuck. Because cocky has also worked for me and my fucking benefit, but I just know that, I don't know, just a good fucking talker. I don't know why. It's just kind of like communication.
Well, that's why we started this podcast.
Well, it's not even so much that, it was just to look back at when I did fucking laser tag.
Yeah.
You know?
And how you ran the room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can fucking convince 32 kids to fucking laugh at my jokes, I think I
Could I
convince
ask you to like
grown-ups
come up with an opener?
It was just really hard.
to talk to them?
Yeah.
I didn't think so. Oh, but I mean, they're all smiling at you. They're waiting. They're holding guns.
But you always did the opener, too.
Yeah.
You know? So,
It shows not how you read the room.
So Stephen was just Steve was just sitting there going, "Shut the fuck up, man. Let me do this. I got it."
No, he would have me do the opener, and he'd
we
finish
pretty
off.
much like tag team it. It was easier because
Which-
I'm not good at like starting the conversation off.
Which
Because
also
everybody's
brings
just
me
standing
to-
there like, you know.
The form that I've always wanted to do. And I've talked about this with Zachary. We've talked about this with Stefan. The thing I've even talked about with you, Sam. I mean, we've actually I think I've discussed with everybody in this room probably at some point in time that I want to do. If I did stand up and wanted to do stand up, I would do 2-man stand up because it's not really seen. And when I have seen 2-man stand up, there's like a famous, I think they're twins, who do stand up and they're fucking corny. And it's
You're talking about the
Corny.
Jewish brothers.
Yeah.
straight up fucking
The Jewish
cornballs.
brothers,
Dirt bag, the bag of dirt. They're fucking dirt.
The Jewish brothers.
I don't know if that's their fucking names, but they're cornballs.
No, they're Jewish. Yeah, I think they're
I
Malibu
think their names,
Swami.
it's like John and Stan Cornball,
Yeah.
but they're dirt. And I
John
just
and
don't really
Stan
fucking
Cornball.
care for them. And the problem with it is that the 2-man shit is just rehearsed. And you gotta find, I want somebody, you gotta find a normal balance with, you can openly talk.
You gotta
and
find your Abbott to
disagree.
Costello, where you just feed off each other.
Julius, right? So, but yeah, you can, that's like the whole point that you're going for is that
I know
somebody
it's
who
not
can,
fiction.
somebody who can debate you and agree with you when knowing the time is right to do so. So the only time you're ever really rehearsing your stand-up is talking to each other.
Right.
'Cause that's just natural conversationalist. And if you're comfortable and people see you're comfortable, they get comfortable.
Yeah.
If you're awkward, they get awkward. If you fucking suck, then they get me. And you gotta find a quick balance between that or somebody who could save you. Just like if you're in a group, somebody chokes on stage. Sean White. Daddy had to come in.
So, I mean,
That's how, but that's my vision, my perfect and beautiful idea of comedy is 2 people up there basically just talking and everybody enjoying the conversation.
okay.
And you can almost run it that way where you're just conversating. So if you did rehearse themes that are going to reoccur in your conversation. So then it's an inside joke that the crowd gets.
They're
Right.
supposed to argue with people in front of everybody else.
If I could just go up there and just
True.
argue, what's up, nigga? Then it's a fucking rap too.
I need a
Yeah,
volunteer.
that job.
What's your opinion on anything? Let's go.
You like those forks? Fuck those forks. Like, I can see you.
Or just even so, imagine if you and the friend or whoever's up there doing it with you, and you're just calling the same person a piece of shit. Like it's gold. It has nothing.
What? I'm trying to find the right question. How do I ask
Ladies.
this question?
What,
Like
yeah, those are-
tag team shut down heckler. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's something I never actually thought about, but I mean, we have talked about it, like doing like a 2-man thing. I don't know. It'd
I
be
think
weird
it'd be
at
pretty
first.
interesting to watch, as long as
I mean, who do you
he
think-
said as long as they're good and not awkward and corny.
I'm out.
Because then it's almost like you're watching like a live sitcom.
That's what that's what you gotta avoid.
You know.
But I think that's the thing that's I personally see as like a misconception in comedy is that like again, it is a character that they're putting on. Like most comedians, like if you really get into them, like they're sad people that get up there and make everybody else laugh because they're able to kind of like take their own sadness and turn it into something else. But I mean, like I don't know, it's still a performance. It's a form of art. It's still like, yeah, like you can get up there and conversate with people, but everybody acts differently when everybody's watching them as opposed to like by themselves. So if you were to stand up there and argue with me right now with just like the people in this room, it's going to be a completely different conversation than if you and I stood up in front of 20 different people. Because then you're trying to convince them. You're not trying to convince me and vice versa. Do you get what I'm saying?
But that's what I just literally, that's like I'm saying, is that you rehearse. It's like that's what I said. It was more of a, instead of the crowd being involved, like the crowd's just like, yeah, the crowd's there, but that's why I said I've never seen it, is it has to be the two people. They have to be entranced into each other, because I'll laugh at him if nobody else is laughing, or I'll laugh at whoever. You know what I mean? And vice versa.
Well,
so it's not so much about them. It's them enjoying what they're seeing you two put on.
So I'm going to mention this.
They're not putting on for you. They're putting on almost for each other.
You mentioned those two brothers. I did see something like that.
No homo.
Yeah. Got you.
I've already made progress.
I know. But I did see something kind of like that. Two of the dudes from Super Troopers did that.
I went and saw them live. They're great.
It was the fat dude and the dude who was
the Jewish guy
Jewish
in
dude, Jewish
in
dude
Beer Fest.
Or like fat.
He's also like the like
I
Latin
look
lover.
fat
guy.
and Jewish.
Well, no, it's the dude who's like, you boys like.
He's also like the Latin lover in Club Dread and.
I'm trying to tell you who he is from Super Troopers. The dude who's like, you boys like Mexico and Super Troopers. It's that guy and Farva.
Steve Lenny.
No, I have a signed poster by
There you go,
them.
Black
It's
Roll.
great. They were hilarious.
And
But they also do crowd like.
they did
Work.
But what they also did was they started off together, then they each take about 15 minutes to themselves just to do a little bit, and then they come back together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. You do the two. You do the opening bit. Or one of you's just in the crowd somewhere. Yeah, that's how it starts.
And what?
That'd be some heat though.
One of them's in the crowd already.
He just
And then
hops up.
you make it like almost a joke, and involuntary. And then it happens to be the person.
Right.
But they knew that, and they're expecting it, so it's fine. Because
Right.
humans are stupid.
And
And I couldn't manipulate them like cattle.
And Darius is saying this the whole time as
We
that
have
person's
people
walking
burgers
to
in
the
no
stage.
Yeah, that's my idea of comedy. But the reason it is that way is because I just want to think outside the box and just do something different. I don't want to just go up there and just do comedy.
For sure.
Pass on the first movie deal, accept the second because I'm desperate. Like, comedy.
So you turned down Dr. Dolittle 5. I get you.
We're just going to everything like Kevin Hart did, and then just make shitty movies. So now it's at the point where if he's in the movie, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, most of the Kevin
He's
Hart's
into
movies
watching.
are ass, but
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed watching him as stand-up.
Yeah.
I like his.
I
stand-up.
agree. I think that's a big issue for me too. Is that a lot of like
now it's
comedians
like-
that I love, it just
It's like
yeah.
forced humor because they're
Yeah.
like Kevin Hart's in it, you know. So like you're gonna have a fucking laugh.
Did
Ha,
you
ha,
watch
ha.
Central
Well, he's
Intelligence?
he's typecast.
Central Intelligence.
He's the same
Like The
person
Rock?
in
He
every
plays
film.
the same small weak guy in every fucking movie.
Yeah, we get it.
Like you're short.
But I mean, what else would he be?
well, yeah, but that's the
Like,
whole point of
the
acting.
main
is
guy?
To, like,
No.
not be yourself. I guess.
Well, it,
Acting is to.
If I was watching Tom Hanks in his
to
house,
branch out.
I would not like Tom Hanks.
What?
the point of acting is to act as something you're not, and I get what you're saying because it's
Yeah.
like he's just like
He's just being
even
Kevin
that
Hart.
Zootopia or what? No, it wasn't Zootopia. That Life of Pets movie.
But that's the best
Or whatever.
act he ever did. You want to know why? Because he wasn't fucking in it. It's just his
But it
voice.
was still just a bunny talking like Kevin Hart the whole movie.
But it's more enjoyable to watch Kevin Hart talk.
I honestly feel the same way. My big guy with that is Nick Swardson. Do you ever watch his stand up?
Yeah.
I loved him. I used to call him my favorite comedian until he got all fucking up with this Adam Sandler bullshit.
I was
then he's
thinking of that later too.
yeah.
Sandy-
But then
watched
I loved Reno 911 and he was like Terry, the roller skating like male prostitute, and he was one of my favorite characters, and then he gets all involved in that shit. And it just sucks because, like, I don't... Like, he had the show on Comedy Central, and I had no interest in it, but I still, like... I love his stand-up. I think he's great. I don't think he's a good actor. I don't think, like... I don't want to go... I'm not going to pay money because he's in it. And it sucks because, like... Then you listen to a stand-up now, and it even kind of, like, takes away from it a little bit. You know what I mean?
I really like Nick Swartzen in his show.
In what?
His show that he had.
Not sure who that is.
Show's pretty fucking. I didn't mind it. Pretend time.
The
or something
Pretend
like-
Time?
Yeah.
The only sketch I remember liking was the one where, like, he was trying to remember, like he was at a restaurant and he was trying to remember how he knew this, like, couple that came in, and he's like, do you buy drugs from, you know, like whoever down the street? He's like, no, are you sure you weren't at that, like, orgy a couple weeks ago, like, all this shit? And it was like, it ended up being he was their, like, daughter's kindergarten teacher or some shit.
I like that skit. I like Creepyos too.
What was that one?
It's like he had that weird ass cereal.
Yeah.
It was like Creepyos. And the cereal was just mad creepy.
That's
all you need to know. That's really funny.
Then you have like a robot skit or something like that.
Well, Gay Robot.
Gay robots.
Gay Robot.
Gay Robot's on an Adam Sandler CD. And
Yeah.
one of his little...
We just talked about it.
I don't even know why that nigga exists. Well, no, because I can't chastise him. Can't chastise him for, like, his older shit, because Happy Gilmore is my fucking hero. But yeah, he had a skit called Gay Robot. In Grandma's Boy, there's a poster for Gay Robot.
I did notice that, yeah.
In the background. But he was the voice
Yeah.
of Gay Robot, and Gay Robot's fucking hilarious. Hey, Gay Robot, will you hand me a beer? All right. Is it cool if I stick it in your asshole? No, Gay Robot. Gay Robot. You know what I'm talking about.
You get it. But, okay, so Nick Swartzen sucks is what you're saying. As you don't like his stand-up, but you prefer his show.
Yeah.
What?
He has a way better show than he has a fucking... I don't know. My number one disappointment in comedy ever in stand-up was fucking Tosh Point Out, because I fucking love his show. And he's hilarious. His show's fucking hilarious. His little roast and shit. Then I watched his stand-up and he was just up there high. And I'll tell you right now, watching high people isn't fun. I don't give a fuck how much weed people smoke and how much they... No. Watching somebody just like, a stoner?
Let's see.
No. Shit makes my dick soft.
I liked his first stand-up. She likes soft dicks. They make her chuckle.
And this shit's... No,
I'm
it's
just gonna
like-
use that phrase now. It makes my dick soft.
It's fucking disappointing. Because it's like, man, I should have so much expectations. And then he was focused on his water bottle so much because he's thirsty. Yeah, you got it out. You're a little high guy. Fuck out of here. They should just pay me to just roast comedians when they come on and they're not doing that well. Because I'll go out there and fucking flame his ass.
I mean, yeah.
His old
I just
flaming
don't
ass.
really think Tasha's that funny, though.
Oh, I like Tosh a lot.
I never really fucked with him.
I think it shows the comedy.
Like I said, I liked his first stand-up, but that was about it. The show's alright.
I give him props though because he was not the first guy to try to do a show like that, but he's hands down the most successful.
Well, yeah, it's went for, like,
Yeah.
ever now.
Well, and it's just like it. I don't like tune into it, but if I see like a highlight of it or something, like I think it's funny. I like it. I don't know.
Who do you think the greatest stand-up comedian of all time is?
Patrice
Ooh.
O'Neal.
That's a good answer. I love him.
Great.
Did you ever listen to him and Bill Burr on Opie and Anthony?
Shit was like fucking sad.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! Because that was exactly
was,
what we're
like,
talking about.
so
They just
good.
have conversation, but they have the. Patrice O'Neal has one of my favorite points of view on like life in general. He has such a weird perspective on like women and just people. And oh man, I love Patrice O'Neal. He's great. Good answer.
Patrice O'Neal was really fucking good, and I didn't realize how good he was. I watched him on the roast, and that's where I first heard of him. Then I was like,
Yeah, then we were watching his stand-ups in your basement.
oh yeah, I was like, this dude's fucking hilarious. So I looked him up, and he just ended up being so... I don't think... I've never laughed at stand-up as hard, and I love Dave Chappelle, and I like his stand-ups, but I'm not the biggest fan of Dave Chappelle stand-ups because his show outweighs his stand-up so much, because when I see Dave Chappelle, I just really want it to be Clayton Bigsby, you know, or I want
Prince.
it to be one of the people he acted as in
Yeah.
the show, because his show is fucking probably the funniest skit show of all time.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Hands
Second
down.
place, probably Mad TV.
Oh,
So-
dude, thank you.
Yeah.
I love Matt TV.
SNL falls like on my lower list. I'm not a big SNL fan.
After Matt TV, I'd say Key and Peele. I really
I
love
like SNL when their skits aren't political.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But yeah, no,
But that's
Patrice
all they are
O'Neal
anymore.
was fucking great, and then I found Bill Burr, and I didn't even know about their friendship. And then after Patrice O'Neal died, I watched their fucking video. I watched Bill Burr's dedication to him, and it was like super fucking emotional. I was like, this was his fucking ride or die. So I looked up a bunch of stuff and watched like 3 of their little roundtable discussions between the two of them and stuff, and I was just like, this thing's just fucking funny. He's just literally, I could see being around him and he being in there. It's like weird because he's funny because I've connected with him. Because I picture if I was with him, I'd probably just be fucking comatose somewhere because I laugh too hard.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't find a lot of that with comedians because I think comedians are funny, but I don't think they're not as funny as a lot of people perceive them to be. Like Louis C.K., I think he's funny. I think that he's excessive with the N-word for no fucking reason other than shock comedy, and that bothers me. But second place goes to John Mulaney because that dude will have me in fucking tears.
See, I just started watching him. I'm getting used to his comedy. I thought some of his delivery wasn't strong enough for me, but like there's some really great jokes in there that I fucking love. One of my all-time favorites, she mentioned him, is Mike Birbiglia.
I love him.
Because
He's great.
it's really subtle. Like, first off, he made fun of himself in one thing that had me fucking dying. Something about his last name.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I used to get picked on in school, Birbiglia, Birbig Bug, Birbig you ugly, faggot. Like out of left field, just the way it was subtle in the delivery. I feel like that's why I connect with the comedian is
Absolutely.
the subtleness of it's not really a punchline. It's just
I mean,
thrown in there.
To a certain extent, there's this whole thing, like when you talk about like Amy Schumer stealing jokes and stuff like that, just an example. There's tons of videos online that you can watch, and I'm obsessed with them, where people try to like accuse a bunch, not just Amy Schumer, but a bunch of different comedians from stealing from each other. But there's literally like a psychological, like, whole thing about like parallel thinking versus like you guys come to the same conclusion, and it's just like it's all about delivery for me. Because basically what it comes down to is multiple comedians can make the same joke, but it's all about how their perception of the joke plays out. Louis C.K.'s version of a whatever joke is going to be different than John Mulaney's, but John Mulaney's is funny because of the way that he delivers it. So that's why, like, I'm always drawn to...
It's also voice.
It is, and that's why, like, even people hate on Amy Schumer, but I liked her, like, I'm a hipster, but, like, I really, really was into her before she, like, got super, super huge. I was super into her, and then, like, she got big, and I got it, like, she was stealing jokes and shit, but it was, like, her early stuff, I liked her delivery. I thought it was funny, like, I get it.
She's still original.
Well, it was just like she comes out there and it's this comfortability, and what it was to me is that she talks to you like a girl that I fucking know. Like, she's just being a bitch, and she's like bitching about this and whatever, and that's like, I don't know, it's just a little different. But I mean, with Mike Birbiglia, I think he's like the prime example of he's less quotable than some comedians because he's contextual. It's all about, like, he tells you an entire story, and then he goes back to a previous story that he already told you to kind of make the joke better. And I just think it's all about delivery, and that's why, I mean, I think that's where, like, comedy becomes, like, almost an art form. Where, you know, you're not just, like, saying something and, like, you know, build up punchline, but... It almost becomes an inside joke between you and the comedian, and that's what really gets to you. And
that's why John Mulaney was on my list.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I really like him on the Cole show.
By the way, Asian Tommy, shout out to him. He knows who he is. He says Mad TV is better than SNL, and that he is the greatest comedian of all time.
Is he listening?
He's listening.
What's up, Tommy?
Oh, he's listening. He always listens.
Hi.
But yeah, John Mulaney, I used to have him on my Slacker radio saved.
And then honestly, Bo Burnham has become one of my favorites.
I do love him.
Well, it's like, you know, in comedy, it's like once you've seen it, you don't want to see it again, and that's how I judge comedy. Is that if I saw it again, would it still be funny? Like, not necessarily I gotta fucking laugh at it. Perfect example is I don't care what anybody says. I'll watch Wedding Crashers 100 times, and that movie will always be fucking hilarious. Now I'm talking like bust out loud.
Yeah, me too.
At Wedding Crashers every time I watch it.
Yeah,
because
that's how I feel about the other guys.
Black Widow.
Yeah,
that's our shit.
If I can't go a day without quoting
I
it.
quote Wedding Crashers. I say Seamus O'Toole a lot.
I think I quote that movie more than any other movie, honestly.
Yeah. And that movie will always be funny to me, you know, and then that's how it is with comedians and stuff. Like, if I get bored and want to watch something funny, and I can't find something new to watch, I can watch Elephant in the Room by Patrice O'Neill.
For sure. That's a great,
Fucking great,
great
yeah.
stand-up, man.
And then I can watch John Mulaney's New in Town.
His New in Town was awesome.
Yeah, I've probably seen it like 20 times. And
New
Joe,
in Town.
And Joe's the one who, yeah, I'm new in town. Joe's the one who introduced me to that. Joe's got a pretty keen eye, so.
Yeah.
True.
Do you feel stand-up should just be stand-up though? Where do you think stand-up comes from? Was it telling jokes from pain, just only that, or
No, I think stand-up is
a mixture of everything?
Art.
yeah, like Julia said, it's art. It's just a mixture of everything. Like a lot of these comedians, like she said, have that whole fucking "I'm sad" thing. Here it is. Let me display my humor onto you because I can talk like this and it's somehow funny. You know, there's comedians like that. And you got comedians who are like obscene that people like for some reason, like Dane Cook. And then like Dane Cook's show
Karate
was funny
of
and stuff
comedy.
like that. But you know, that's how far I like my obscene comedians to go is Dane Cook. Like, I don't like people who are just blatantly being fucking just openly rude and loud and shit because for the factor of shock comedy. Like, it's just
So
something.
shock comedy is
It's
just
the
not-
I
comedy
just don't
equivalent
fucking
of jump
respect it.
scares.
Yeah, you know, yeah, exactly. I don't respect
cheap.
it. It's cheap.
It is. It's
And
easy.
I like
Just
it.
like swearing overly or N-word or like you
Yeah,
said with Louis
you gotta-
C.K. I totally get it.
Like you,
I like
you know,
Louis C.K.,
and
but
that's
I get
what I'm
what you're
saying
saying.
is like don't dislike him. I just don't like I watched this little round table thing and he's like screaming the N-word in Jerry
You're talking-
Seinfeld and Chris Rock's face.
No, I know.
And it's like, bro,
Oh.
there's a time and
Well,
fucking
no,
place.
it wasn't just
Comedian
like
or not.
It wasn't just like screaming it. Like he even got looks from Chris Rock. Like, dude,
Yeah, like come on,
Dude.
we're fucking friends. Shut up. We get it. You were on Pootie Tang. But no, I definitely hear you there. That's why I like originality a lot. Because I mean, comedy in general isn't original, but the way someone can do it is.
There's an old joke. I remember watching a documentary because I'm a nerd about like different comedy things, and they were talking about this like cliche joke about the Aristocrats. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where there's this ongoing joke, or not an ongoing joke, but it's like this amongst comedians known joke where there's nothing really funny about it. You're basically trying to like gross the fuck out of the audience, and the joke is something along the lines of like it's like incestual, like the mother and the father are like feeding shit to the kids while the mom sucks the like son's dick. It's ridiculous, but it's one of those things where it like exercises your delivery. And the best way that it was ever done was there was a roast for Hugh Hefner like right after 9/11 happened, and basically it was just not a very good roast. It was for Hugh Hefner, and people were getting up there, but it was right after like 9/11, so kind of all these comedians, as great as they were, they're like, what's allowed to be funny? Everybody's like super sad and like down because of, you know, shit in the world. And like Gilbert Godfrey, of all people, like basically gets up there on his podium and just tells that joke and has everybody in the audience and every comedian sitting up there just like laughing their asses off at this joke that's, you know, like, again, picture Gilbert Godfrey. I'm not going to do an impression.
What?
Yeah, exactly. But him talking about like, so the mother's saying to the girl to suck the like dad's dick and all this kind of stuff. It's all about delivery, and everybody was dying because it broke that tension of like what's allowed to be funny and what's not. So he went with that like quintessential joke that's like not funny, but like in that situation it shined. You know what I mean? So it's just it all comes back to that. And I think that that's the best part of comedy is, like I said, I mean, people are going to have parallel thinking. They're going to like have at least similar jokes, but it's all about how you interpret it. Like people like to attack certain people, you know, on the internet for saying like, you know, well, you copyrighted this joke because that's what they did. They literally took the joke and just like retold it. But there's plenty. I mean, if you really took the time to look through and see like how many jokes have been like redone, it's just
So
different people's perspective. Like Darius's view on like a certain subject is going to be similar but completely different than like mine. And it's all about how he presents it versus I present it. And it doesn't mean that I stole anything from him. It means him and I experienced the same thing, but I have my version of it and he has his version of it, and different people will find that funny and some people will find both alternatives funny, if that makes sense. I hope it does.
I got it. One thing I really like about comedy is I like people sometimes finding people like, I know we said cheap, but like some people finding the easiest things to make jokes about is irony.
Mm-hmm.
I love irony. How many times since Dylan's came into this house, I've dropped so many fucking irony bombs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like, well, even the other, like me and Dylan's comedy, we don't. I feel like we don't have the same taste, and me and his comedy derive off literally inside jokes of what we know about each other, and the inside jokes that we know about each other portray on the outside world, and that's where our comedy lies. Like, I feel like he watches a different brand of comedy than I do, but together,
Unstoppable. So
Yeah,
like I'll mention Bo
definitely.
Burnham again.
yeah.
He has a song called "Sad" that he does, but it's naming things that are sad. He's like, I met a homeless man named Rich. You know, isn't that sad? And then by the end, he turns. He's like, but then I realized the world isn't just sad. It's funny. You know, I'm a sociopath. And he's like, I saw an old man fall down the stairs. What a fucking idiot. And he's like, I saw a mother he's like, I saw a mother crying at her daughter's funeral. Ha ha ha. Classic comedy. And then he was all like, and then the last line he said was like, he's like, the Holocaust and 9/11. That shit's funny 24/7. Like, he just took it so many extra miles, but he had that irony, and that's what I think he prays on a lot, and he's smart about it.
I love irony. But another form to kind of back that up. I don't respect singing comedy at all. I mean, like people who sing.
What do you mean?
So that you don't like Bo Burnham.
Oh, but you know what's interesting about Bo Burnham? He even pointed out because David Lynch is another one that sings and does the comedy, and Bo Burnham was one that like pointed out that like David Lynch writes a song and he has his own little like song too, whatever. But Bo Burnham just makes a beat, like basically, essentially, like interchangeably the same beat, and just does his jokes over it.
And it's a little different, but yeah, I'm the niggas who just, you write your song and just, you gonna sing me a funny song. Like, listen to how that sounds. Let me sing you a funny song. I'm immediately gonna go, this isn't gonna be.
Then I just think of loneliness.
Because then the dude's singing and looking at you, and you're singing,
Right.
and you're waiting for the sung punchline, and it's like, fuck, I got the punchline right here, nigga, because
And
it's
that's
gonna
where-
upset me.
That's where like Bo Burnham has punchlines.
I always liked his joke in between his songs where he said like it was like the difference between dicks and vaginas are a lot like Coke versus Pepsi. I prefer one over the other, but my dad thinks they taste the same.
One of my favorite jokes, I don't know, it was just really easy. He's like, you know, my girlfriend had a weird fetish. You know, she used to like to dress up as herself and act like a fucking bitch all the time.
Yeah.
Like, that's an easy joke, but it's
It's so
I think of
great.
it. So, I don't know, I like some of those jokes. Sometimes I like introspective comedy. It kind of makes me think where maybe I don't laugh.
Yeah. I'm into that. The whole paint a picture thing, think about it
Yeah.
later.
And then like afterwards you're like, that shit's fucking comedy.
Pretty funny.
But then also sometimes you're like, that shit's really sad.
Like, I've laughed really hard. I've laughed really
I'm
hard
done
at
now.
a joke. I've laughed really hard at a joke by saying, that's funny. You know, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I've got it a lot.
Like, I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. And I genuinely meant that.
Appreciate it.
Because it's like,
Sorry.
I forgot what I was
You took, I felt like there was a layup there. So,
going to say. No, yeah, you took the oop for sure.
yeah. That was a swish.
It was in an alley.
Sorry, dude. I actually really wanted to hear what you had to say.
I can't-
I'm so sorry. We were talking about introspective comedy where it makes you think and paints a picture for you instead. Nope. Got it.
I'm just pissed that I forgot what I was going to say.
I
I
feel
was
sorry.
reading Tom's message and he said hi to everybody.
Hi, Tommy.
Hi.
Can't really say hi to Dylan, but I'm going to make him.
I think honestly, like, as someone who's watched like a lot of those documentaries on comedy and stuff like that, it's such a harder job than you would really think about. No, seriously, like, I can't imagine like having either like an improv set up or like something written out, and like you like part of it is like not being liked up there, like nobody laughs and like people just heckle you and shit. Like that's part of
I can
what
explain
it
it
is.
really easily. So, like, people have told me, like, to try stand up, and that's actually, and this is how they relate it, how they think I should. You were in a band, you were up there, and I was like, yeah, there was 4 other fucking people with me, and that pressure wasn't just on me, it I mean, yeah, I had the microphone.
So the pressure was only like mostly on you.
But yeah, but all I had to do was be like, this next song's called this, and kind of be entertaining. But like, I really just had to work with the band. Without the band, I'm just screaming into a microphone.
Yeah. Tommy says he likes comedians that do storytelling and just somehow word things in a funny way. Because of me, it just paints a picture in my head. He likes Peter Russell.
Peter Russell's not bad.
I actually haven't heard of that person.
We ain't heard of him. Fucking idiot.
Oh no. I would have meant.
No, I
You know-
fucks with Peter Russell real hard. Never heard him, but I fucks with him.
Word.
But yeah, I'm kind of on the
Alright.
same thing. That's what I was gonna say. Literally, I was gonna say I like people who paint a picture. Before I was rudely different. See, we could both be funny. Irony.
Oh yeah, we are funny, huh?
Yeah, it was.
My joke was better.
Yeah, you're right. It was hilarious.
Appreciate that, yeah. It was a mixture of sarcasm and fuck you. You got it.
And fuck you.
Got it, yeah. I don't know. That's why I watch like comedians riff off each other. Like the Green Room with Paul Provenza. Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Dana Gold. I guess he's been on The Simpsons forever. Like he helps write that. But
He
like,
said, "Fuck you guys, bless you, Julia."
Thank you.
that hurts.
I got blessed though.
Hear you sneeze?
I just sneeze
She,
again.
I think she did sneeze out.
He said, "Really, you disrespectful fucks."
Tommy said that? Jesus Christ.
Give him a thumbs up.
There you go. We out of time.
Almost.
2 minutes.
Just thought I'd be dead air for the last 2 minutes.
About
Black Widow with their homework assignment.
No.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
What's your homework assignment?
Mark,
Really?
Really?
Me and Darius just like went over this with while you guys were upstairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, you two summarize it then.
Marketing. That's all we
Marketing.
got. That's all we got to. The me and Darius just told them we could do it, and then you should stay.
Do you have to type stuff or do you have to draw stuff?
I have to type stuff.
Ew.
Sucks.
Yeah.
What are your guys' hopes and dreams?
Fuck.
I don't fucking know. This is this fucking podcast. Say that. Green Day. Fuck you.
I think that's about it, right? Yeah? We're good?
Yeah.
I
See
love
y'all
you
later.
the most on this robot, though. So take that.
Or just stop it.
Yeah, just hit stop.